All right, guys, welcome to Leadership for July. And this training we're going to talk all about duplication, and it's something that I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and I keep saying, "Oh, I need to talk about that. Oh, I need to talk about that." Well, now's the time. I'm talking about it. So, duplication in your business, specifically when it comes to your team. Now, you guys know that I love my word consistency, and I think that it applies for everything, and it does. But when you start building a team, when you get your that first team member, and then even more importantly, when you promote to lead, that's kind of when your mindset kind of has to shift a little bit, right? So yeah, you've probably up until that point maybe have been working with a team member, maybe a couple, um, and you've been working your own business. But now it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Because now I have people that are like looking to me, right? So everything kind of has to do a little bit of shifting, not a huge shift. It's not a big change, but it's just something that's going to be part of the next season in your Scentsy business or in your Scentsy journey, right? So we as leaders, we need to look for ways to be able to make that easier because we're still just as focused, or we need to be just as focused on our own personal businesses, right? So whether that's having our own parties and doing our own, like today, Harry Potter, right? Our own pre-orders or pre-sales and doing all the things. And then also, how do we stretch ourselves further and also be there for our team members? And what if they have questions? And how do I make more of myself, right? We can't duplicate ourselves, but there are ways that we can put into or things that we can put into place rather that will help us to be able to manage all of it a lot better. And I personally am one who I thrive when it comes to having like set things, right? So like I need structure. I need to know what I should be doing, when should I do it, how should, I need those guidelines because otherwise it gives me anxiety and I'm all over the place. And then I feel completely lost with everything. So if I keep my structure, it helps. And so it's one of the things that I've realized is for me, it's one of my personal strengths, right? Is to set up that structure for myself. I know I need it. I know I work better with it, so I really make it a priority to implement that into my business. So I implement that, of course, again, with my personal business, but also with my team and with you guys. I've started carving you guys out a little bit. So here in the leaders group, right? Because things are different, right? Like in the main group page, I like to be able to share everything and here's how to do this because we've got consultants that are ranging all the way from I just joined yesterday to this is my sixth time being a Scentsy consultant and now I really want to work, right? So we've got people in all spectrums. That's kind of more for that. And I really wanted to carve out this leaders group just specifically for the people who are you guys, right? You are here looking to be able to really make this more of a, um, well, I mean, we all, maybe not everybody, but we specifically as leaders in this group are looking to push this as a business. So we really want to make sure that we are getting everything done we need to do. So what is duplication? At the end of the day, we can get lost in a lot of things in this business. So duplication, we are founded within Scentsy on one of our core values, right? Is simplicity. Simplicity. And sometimes with the fluff and the happy mail and the, cool things that we're doing with samples or this and that, right? It's really easy to lose that simplicity in a lot of things. And you'll hear me talk about it every so often because I like to bring it up. And that's, just remembering to bring things back to the basics, right? Because even specifically for our team members as they're joining, they're not necessarily up to, oh, I need to make these beautiful Happy Meal packages now. And oh, I need to do this. And oh, I need to be doing those things. Not necessarily, right? They're not at the same point in their business that you are in yours. So we don't want them thinking that that's a standard that they need to initially start working at, right? Because it's not. We need to make sure that they're focused on the simplicity of the business. And that specifically is talking to customers, having conversations, booking those parties. And then also, we'd like to encourage them to also look for those people who might find a good spot with an opportunity for joining our team, right? And building a business. So when you're thinking about your team and duplication, you really need to break it down to everything that you did in your business to get you to where you are today. Those are the things that your team needs from you. Now, if you get or have people reinstate or rejoin with you, they might fall into a different category, right? They may have been like, yeah, I was a consultant for like 3 years. I left for a year. Now I'm back, right? That's a different person, right? They kind of know the basics, how to put it in order, those kind of things, right? You can kind of set them aside and treat them a little differently. But for the most part, when people are joining our team, they don't necessarily need to be doing all the things we are. They need to be at the basic level. So the things that got you to where you are is what you want to help them to duplicate. So how did you have your very first party? For some, it may have been during the pandemic, right? So for some, it may have been, yeah, it was all virtual. For others who maybe have been doing this for a while, it might have been, yeah, I did home parties, or I did, a really great event or whatever it was. And that was the first thing you did. Anything that got you to where you are is what is going to be helping your team. So those conversations, the parties, and all the steps that you took and that you continue to take, right, in your own personal business are the things that they really need to know. And that's something you can duplicate. Of course, consistency is truly what's going to grow your business. But when it comes to leading a team, being able to help teach them is going to be what is going to help them, right? So again, it's not necessarily doing trainings, right? I see a lot of consultants who are like, oh, I must do trainings now because it's what I see and hear everybody doing. They're doing trainings. If that's what you want to do, if you're comfortable with that, if that's your wheelhouse, it was mine. I started out like that's just how I am. Even when I had my job, I was in a training capacity, right? That's just what I've always done. It's where I feel comfortable. It's what I like to do. So that for me was easier. Whereas some are like, "Ah, it's just not really my bag, right? And that's okay. It doesn't have to be. And specifically for you guys, you have some amazing resources here. I mean, I can give you all the trainings that you'd ever want. You've got the YouTube, right? I know we all have different people and a lot of the same people that we watch on YouTube that give us amazing trainings within this business. We've got our Bliss page, right, with all of the leaders helping out and doing different trainings on topics. And the workstation already has things there. So I don't want you guys to feel as leaders that you have to recreate the wheel for everything. You don't. There are pieces that you can grab and take. Again, you want to do a training with your team, then by all means go for it. If that's not something that you want or feel comfortable doing, then by all means go grab those trainings and be like, okay, this one's really helpful, or I love connecting with this person. You guys might like it too or find it helpful. Or there was some really great info that I got out of this when it came to having my first Facebook party. This is a good one, I think, that would be great for you guys to watch who are interested in doing a Facebook party. You don't have to sit here and recreate every single thing. It's just not necessary. And at the end of the day, especially when you are building your team, because I know you guys are working on promoting at your own titles, right? You're going to end up spinning your wheels if you're spending more time training than you are in your own business, right? Because at the end of the day, I will tell you, your own PRV has to come first. Your house has to be in order first in order to help everybody else. And I like to be able to use the same example. I know I've used it before, so you guys may have heard it, but just like on the airplane, right? When they're like, if the life masks come down, you put the life mask on first or the air mask on first, just so you can then help other people. You have to build and grow your business. So if you're spending more time creating trainings and creating this and creating that, you're going to lose the simplicity and the things that got you there, right? Because You're not going to have as much time for your own business, your own PRV. Oh, and I want to check in on them and see how they're doing and remind them that they're shooting star dates coming up or sensational start, right? Those are the things that you need to be focusing on. So don't necessarily put all your thought into having to create all the things. So the next question would be, how do you teach duplication? How do you teach your team to duplicate what you've been doing? The short answer is you don't. You don't teach it, not necessarily teach it, right? Because as a leader, your team is going to take direction from you. They're going to see the things that you're doing in your business or the things that you did that helped you increase your PRV or helped you to promote to that title or helped you to add people to your team. Those are the things that they're going to be teaching or learning from you, not necessarily, we're going to sit down, we're going to go over these steps, this is what we're going to do, right? They don't necessarily need that. They need direction, but they have to be able to see it. And they have to be able to know, okay, now I get it. That's how they're able to have 4 parties a month. Okay, they're doing all Facebook parties and they're using that Visly thing. Maybe I should take a little bit of time and learn that, right? Those are things that will help them in their business because remember, just like you, at the end of the day, their personal PRV has to come first so that way they can be a stronger leader for their people as they are starting to sponsor and build a team. Those are the things that we want to duplicate. Another thing is showing up for your business. Y'all, you showed up for this training, right? You guys are already showing up for trainings, for the events, SFR, all the things, right? And hopefully when we're back in person, all the real things, right? Back in person, thank you. But you're setting the tone for your team, right? You're setting the tone by saying, hey, there's, every week is this training and I make sure I show up for that, right? Because even though, yeah, maybe I know all about Facebook parties and I think I'm a pro, I'm still going to show up because maybe I learned something new that time, right? Your team's going to take that cue and those are the things that they're going to duplicate if they see you doing it. Sharing how you work your business is another big thing. And whether or not you guys have team pages or not, you don't have to. If you want to, you can, right? It's not a requirement. But if you do, find ways that you can share with your team how you're working your business, how you do your marketing, right? Like with the Harry Potter pre-sale today, sharing with them, hey, this is what I did to get people excited, right? Like for me, and since I had my VIP group, so I posted in there. And I sent out a reminder text to my customers who had shown interest, right? Or actually, was it anyway, but whatever, right? So like it's those things that you want to be sharing with your team. Here's how I'm doing this. Or, this is how I'm doing my follow-ups this month. This is what I'm doing. I'm sending these thank you cards. And this is what I'm doing, right? Or I sent some emails today and did some follow-ups with previous customers from last month. And I was able to connect with a couple. Those are the things that they see that work for you, that again, they're just going to duplicate the things that you're doing because that's what they're learning, right? So just like we would with our children, right? We want to set a good example. We want to set an example for our team of, yeah, I show up to things. Yeah, I can't make all the trainings. Nobody really should or can, right? We have life, we have jobs and things outside of this Scentsy box, right? But the ones that you can, you make time for. And if there's one that maybe is really important that you're like, oh my gosh, this is one I definitely have to attend, right? Then that's the one that you're going to tell your team the same, right? You guys have got to make sure you catch this training. It's going to be amazing, right? I'm going to try and jump on. I may not be able to be there for the whole thing, but I'm jumping on too, guys. Let's learn this together. Giving them that sense that you're working together is also going to help you solidify the connections with your team. And again, that's how they're going to learn to duplicate because they are going to learn to trust you and they're going to know that you're here too. You're not going anywhere. I know you guys have heard the stories, and I know a couple who have even had sponsors who just poof and disappeared, right? And you're left going, well, now where do I look? Now what do I do? I don't even know what to do, right? And that's what you don't want for your team, right? So you want your team to know that you're there. You're not going anywhere. Yeah, things may change in life. Your schedule may change. Your if you have a job, the hours might change. You may not be available as much as you used to be, right? That's fine. Your team's going to understand that at the end of the day. That's not going to be something that'll be like, oh, well, screw this. They understand that. But being able to explain it to them, to be able to let them know that you adjust your schedule as needed, right? Because that's the beauty of this business. Is not only do we get to be our own boss, but we get to decide when and how we work our business, right? So those are the things that you want your team members to know. If you've got the younger kids who are going to be crazy and running around the house, well, you know what? Hey guys, I work my business more in the evenings and definitely when they're all in bed, right? Like that's when you're going to catch me, and you're teaching them those things, that it's okay, that if they're at that spot, then that's okay for them to do, right? They can build their own schedules. Being accountable in your business. If you want your team members to set goals, then you need to be sharing what your goals are too, right? They need to know that it's not just you saying, hey, got to set goals this month. Hey, you need to be thinking about sponsoring this month. You need to be saying, this is my goal this month. This is what I'm shooting for. I think you guys know by now I'm shooting for that $2,000 PRV. I want that on a consistent basis every single month. And I am not afraid to tell my team that, right? That's what I'm shooting for. That's what I'm aiming for. It doesn't have to be their goal. I'd like it to be, but it doesn't have to be their goal. But at the same time, you're showing them that you too are still working your business just as much as they are. Just because you're at this title doesn't mean you stop working. It doesn't mean you stop having parties or stop setting goals. You still are doing all the things that got you there. And so you're telling them, or you're teaching them duplication by telling them and sharing with them what you're doing. You also want to recognize your team members as they meet those accomplishments. So if your team member has said, hey, my goal this month is to get active for the first time, and I'm really hoping I can do it, right? So when they meet that goal, oh my goodness, give them a shout out. You want them to know that that was important, right? They set a goal, they met a goal. Oh my goodness, that's fabulous. So hopefully, and some people aren't really good at like recognizing their own efforts, right? I'm one of those people. Sometimes, I'm like, oh, I don't want to toot my own horn, I don't want to do all that, right? But my goodness, let's toot it for them. Let's toot that horn when they meet that goal. That's an exciting accomplishment, and that's just going to make your team, again, they're going to duplicate more of that because they're going to understand that was why you set the goal, right? Was to be able to meet it, to meet it. And if they don't meet it, then that's okay too. That's okay. I can tell you there's been many months where I truly have not hit my goal. I've been far from my goal. Last month I got close, but it wasn't where I wanted it to be. But I still kept trying all the way to the end, right? So that's what we do in being able to be accountable for our team, sharing what we're doing and sharing the same things that we want them to know. Your call to action for this, things that I want you guys to take away from this and to work on with your team members over the next month, is to start recognizing the behaviors that you want to see repeated. That was one of my like aha moments when I attended Scentsy Director Boot Camp at home office. They talked about, um, you know, for the most part, a lot of leaders in Scentsy will recognize like the big goals, right? So, oh, you hit the incentive, yay. Or, oh, you got over 2000, hooray, right? Those are very important. Those are very much worthy of the hoorays, right? But at the same time, what are the behaviors you want your team members to do every single month? It's probably at least getting active, right? Touching their business, maybe posting on social media, maybe if you see them go live, maybe if you are seeing them, booking parties and you're seeing them having conversations online, whatever that might be, right? You want to recognize those behaviors, because letting your team know, hey, I see you. I see the hard work you're putting in, right? That's the behavior that you want them to start working towards. And so it doesn't always have to be the big thing. It can be, oh my gosh. And you'll see me call out Lisa Sanderson every so often, because even as a director, and she's, great at her sales, and she's always up there doing all the things, sponsoring, she's doing, I wish I want to be Lisa when I grow up, right? But I will tell you that one of the things, and she'll tell you too, she does not want to be on a Zoom call. She does not want to show her face. She does not want to go live. And so I've set a goal for her, and she knows about this goal. And I don't think she's going to mind that I'm sharing it. I know Lisa pretty well, right? But I've given her a goal that by the end of the year, she's going to be teaching one of the Bliss monthly meetings, or monthly gatherings that we call them. And I tease her about it, but lovingly, of course, because it's something that she struggles with. It's just going live. She can sell me under the table. She can sponsor me under the table, right? But for her, it's getting in front of the camera that she's like, nope, 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 nope. We have a weekly director chat that we do over Zoom with the directors in Bliss, and we try and brainstorm for the week. What are we going to work on? What are we doing for the group, and things like this. Lisa will not join. She will text me while I'm in the meeting, and I'm like, you should be in this meeting. She's like, nope, it's a Zoom. So there's always going to be something, no matter what level you're at, that you're just going to want to challenge yourself. So recognizing the behaviors, the getting active, the sponsoring, and maybe it is for that team member. You see them go live for the first time, and you're like, oh, great job. You did that. You did that. You did something you didn't think you could do. That's amazing. Another thing that I want you guys to work on is, I want you to sit down, if you haven't already, is to determine how you want to connect with your team, or how best you want to connect with your team. So for some of you, it might be, a Facebook chat, or a chat, I don't know, outside of Facebook, I don't know, Instagram, maybe, I don't know, whatever, right? Maybe it's a chat that you have you and your team members in. Maybe it is doing trainings. Like I said, maybe you're somebody who likes to do trainings, or get on and go live in your team group. Maybe it's a text chain, or just texting on a one-to-one basis. Maybe it's phone calls. Maybe it's Marco Polo. There's an app called Marco Polo. It's free. And what it is basically, it's a little video chat that you do back and forth. Now, this works for teams that, or for people that maybe you want to just have like the one-on-one contact with, or a smaller team, maybe, a handful of people. I can tell you where I'm at with my team, there's no way I can do Marco Polo with over 300 people. But when my team was smaller, Marco Polo I used a lot, because it was just a way to, again, I could type it, I could text it all day long. But for some of my team members at that time, they just connected better when they were able to see me. And so it's just doing a short video, and then you hit send, right? And then they will see your video, and then they do a video of themselves and send it back. It's like a text, but it's through video. So that might be something that you can think about. Again, it doesn't have to be the same as everybody else. It doesn't have to be the same that is with you and your sponsor. It can be meeting up if you guys are local, but just determining how it is that you're going to best connect, and really what works best for those team members. Because if they are somebody who has that job outside of Scentsy that has very strict hours, or really crazy. When I first started, I was working overnight in the emergency room. Trust me, nobody wanted to talk to me at 3 a.m. But that was like the time that I was most awake, right? But for being able to connect with your team members, you want to know just what is going to work best for them. If they've got a crazy schedule, then hey, maybe at least once a month, let's find time to chat, or meet up at Panera, whatever it is, right? Let's do that. And you're going to find the ways that are going to work, and not every way is going to work for every team member too. So don't get upset. Don't feel like it's something you've done wrong if maybe they don't want to necessarily connect with you, because there are team members, I have them too, who just truly, I will send emails, I'll send text, I'll send happy mail with all the fun things, right? Crickets. crickets. But I know they're still working their business because I see their numbers, right? So I know they're doing it. They just don't want to respond, or they just are not comfortable enough, or whatever it is, right? For whatever reason, they just aren't there. And that's okay too. I can't get upset about that. I can't not, be mad, or I can't be mad about that because they don't feel comfortable to do that. So if you have team members who don't feel comfortable even being on Facebook, I have a handful of team members. I've got the whole Guam team because I don't even think that they can get on Facebook, honestly. But I've got, 6 people who live in Guam who are on my team, and every single month they are killing it. I have no idea how they do it, but they do it. Guam is only like I don't know, it's like a handful of miles long. It's literally an island floating in the ocean. Like, but they do it. But I can't connect with them on Facebook. I can only connect with them through email. I can't even send packages. I've tried sending packages. I don't know how Scentsy gets them there. My post office, they don't understand that Guam is within the US. I don't know. But I'm just saying there's going to be ways that some team members, you're going to be able to connect with them one way, and some team members maybe another way. You may have different styles with everybody. So just know that that's something you can just be flexible about. And if they don't respond, they don't respond. That's okay. It's not on you. Another thing that I'm going to ask you guys to work on, or to implement more, is to start showing. So showing your team, be the leader that you want your team to have. Set that bar and then hold yourself to it. If you tell your team that you're going to do a training, or if you tell your team, hey, let's do a work at Wednesday, let's just all hop on Facebook, and in the chat, we'll just talk about what we're working on this week. It can be a chat, right? Or, hey, there's going to be the Bliss Happy Hour this Sunday. Why don't you hop on with me and we'll watch it together, right? Anything like that. So if you tell yourself, or if you tell your team that you're going to be doing these things and that you're going to connect with them, make sure that you're holding yourself accountable to those things. Again, life may happen. Life happens to all of us. Your team's going to understand if maybe you've set a schedule and for whatever reason it's not going to work. I had to reschedule a coaching call that I had today because I forgot that I had butted it right up against this training, right? So I've rescheduled that. My team member's okay with that. She understands, she gets that scheduling conflicts happen, but it's just the communication that you need to make sure that you're giving your team, to let them know, hey, yeah, I see this. I'm so sorry. The kids are getting sick or whatever it is. I'm not feeling well, right? I just can't. Let's reschedule. Let's put it on the schedule for tomorrow or next week, right? And you just do that. But you don't want to get into the bad habit of telling your team that you're going to do all these things and then not do them. Because what's going to happen, your team is going to start realizing, I can't really count on my leader, can I? They always say they're going to show up. They never show up. I guess I don't have to either, right? And then what happens? Then they start to stop showing up, and they slowly start to drift away into the sunset, right? We don't want that to happen to our teams. I don't want that to happen to your teams. You guys are here to be leaders, and every single one of you has something to offer your team. You have things that your team members are going to admire about you, right? And for some of you, it might be sales. For some of you, it might be sponsoring. For some of you, it might be being able to, have the answers, whatever it is, right? There is something there because you've gotten this far, not just by sitting on your butt and binge watching Netflix all the time, right? You've been putting in work into your business. And even though you might get imposter syndrome from time to time, I've had it for years, where I always felt like I wasn't good enough. I wasn't doing the best, right? I'll tell you guys, I've said it before in 1,000 different trainings and videos, right? I'm not gonna ever probably be, well, I shouldn't say that. I haven't yet ever been in like Tracy's top PRV for the month, right? I haven't been there yet. I'm trying. Don't think I'm not trying, because I'm trying, right? But I always had that imposter syndrome, like, oh, well, how can I have my teams, selling so well? How can I teach team members to do that when I can't seem to get there? that imposter syndrome is real. But at the end of the day, it's all about the effort you're putting in. And it's all about the things that you're showing, every little step that you're sharing with your team and showing them that these are the things that we have to do to run our business. And yeah, we got to show up. And yeah, we might not meet those goals every single month, but damn it, we're going to try again next month too. We sure are. We're in this together. I'm not going anywhere. We're still going to do this. We're still going to get up tomorrow morning. We're still going to try again. I'm going to send out some more messages tomorrow. Let's see if I can book those parties, right? And that's what your team wants to be able to duplicate, is that dedication, that sense of, yeah, she treats this like a business or he treats this like a business. So then maybe I need to do that and maybe I'll be able to get to that level too. Those are the pieces that they pick up. And whether or not as leaders we realize that we're even doing it, a lot of the times we are doing things and we don't even realize we're doing things, right? That our team is going to see and realize, okay, I see them on Facebook advertising this, and I see how they are responding to comments when people comment on their posts. So okay, all right, so yeah, so that's how they're doing those things. That's what I need to be doing, right? They're going to start doing those things. So being a leader when it comes to duplication is really just being visible for your team, showing up for your team, and letting them know again that you're there. You're not going anywhere. And if for whatever reason life happens, then you just let them know. You just have to be transparent in those things. You don't have to be the best to be a good leader. And in fact, one of the things that I always say is if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to leave the room because that's not your room. So you always need to be pouring into yourself, because the more that you pour into yourself, the more you're going to be able to give to your team. It all trickles down, right? The more you learn about your business, the more engaged you are in your business, the more your team is going to see that and recognize that, right? Right now we're in transition. So one of the things that I think is so important is that product training guide. So I'm definitely going to be ordering, and in fact, I'm going to order on payday whenever payday hits, but I'm going to order a handful of some extra product training guides just to send out because I want those team members to know how much they need that. And I'm really going to focus on sending it to those team members who are either, I know that they're struggling in PRV because I can, again, as leaders, right? You can see your team numbers. You can tell who's putting in effort and who's not, even if they're not talking to you. You can see that. Or even if they're not on Facebook, you can see that. So those are the people that you want to try to be able to help them. That doesn't mean you spend all your time with those people either, because again, remember, not everybody is going to want to do this like you do. Not everybody wants this as a full-time job. Not everybody wants to drink the Scentsy Kool-Aid. But the ones that do are the ones who are going to be with you through thick and thin. And they're the ones who are going to show up, and they're the ones who you want to be able to say, "Hey, let's work on this together," right? Because at the end of the day, that's what we are. I love that Scentsy, I mean, we have the word team and everything and the group and everything, right? But it really is the Scentsy family. We are all working towards the same things. Even as a superstar director, every single month they start over at zero, right? Zero PRV. So every single month they got to figure out where are those sales coming from. Just because they're a superstar director doesn't mean that customers flock to them every single month, right? They obviously are doing things to get those customers or to retain those customers, which is why follow up is so important. So, those are the pieces that your team needs to know about. And those are the things that they need to know. Not necessarily the fluffy stuff. The fluffy stuff is fun, but they don't necessarily have to be doing those things. It's those core, back to the simplicity aspect of our business, right? Sales, sponsoring, and retaining the people who are on our team. Those are the three things that you want to work on every single month. How can I do these things better? How can I connect better with my customers, but with my team? those are the people that you want to be connecting with. So think of ways that you can put that into motion in your business as a leader. And if you're anything like me, I will tell you that the first 2 weeks of every single month for me is really focused on what parties I've got set up, what sales I'm doing, my follow-ups. I'm trying to work on my Amy and get all those things out, get my samples out for the sample of the month, get my thank you mail out, right? Even if it's handwritten notes, remember, don't let your teams think that they have to do all the fancy stuff. It can just be a note, it can be an email, it can be a text. Those are free. Well, I guess texting, I guess maybe not free, but whatever, right? Those are the easier things to do. So a follow-up doesn't have to be all the fun confetti all the time. It can just be a phone call, an email, a text. Those are what your newer team members need to be remembering and really need to be focusing in on. Then when they get farther along in their business, by all means, show them how to do all the confetti fun stuff. Then let's dive into the fun stuff and the crafts. But at the beginning, they really have to get those first things down, just like we do. So like I said, the 2 weeks of every month, first of all, first and foremost, I got to focus on my business. I still will make time for my team in the process, right? I still will work with my team. I'm sitting here, right? But my main focus is getting my business in order, because I know that I cannot be as helpful to my team if I'm still trying to focus on all my stuff on my end. So there is that fine line that you're going to walk, but you are going to find that balance. And when you find that balance is when you as the leader are going to have to learn how to duplicate that. And yours might look completely different from mine. Maybe it's flip flop. Maybe you're like, no, I'm going to focus on my team the first half of the month and then I'll work my own business. Whatever works for you in your business or your schedule is what you need to do. But being able to find that balance to make sure that you're touching yours and you're helping them at the same time, that's where you're going to find the sweet Goldilocks spot of your business. And you're going to see those team members starting to promote. You're going to see those team members starting to hit their own goals. You're going to see those team members really start getting excited, just like we all get excited, right? Every single time we see the new product launches or the new catalog, right? They're going to be following in our footsteps as we move along in this journey. So just remember that you are not alone. Remind your team they are not alone. And for the ones who, yeah, maybe they don't answer the texts or the emails or the phone calls, it's okay. Just remind them every so often, I'm over here if you need me. Trust me, they will let you know. They'll let you know. So don't put it on yourself if you feel like you're failing, because you're not failing. Because the only way to learn is to continue to try new things. And it is a balancing act for a while to find that balance. But once you find it, you're going to find that rhythm and you're going to stay in that rhythm. And it's going to be a really great ride for you and for your team. All right, that's what I got for this week.